Welcome to a program devoted entirely to lefties losing it. New year, but the same old crazy left with their unlimited supplies of hate, lunacy and depravity. Let's start in Minneapolis, where the awfuls, that's the affluent white female lefties, are doing all they can to obstruct law enforcement. Doing everything they can to provoke and obstruct, to protect criminals. That's what they're doing. It's an insurrection, and I don't use that word lightly, an insurrection provoked by this sort of reckless rhetoric. Let's hear from the governor of Minnesota, Tampon Tim Walz, who claims ICE agents are hunting and kidnapping innocent people.
ICE agents are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live. They're pulling over people indiscriminately, including U.S. citizens, and demanding to see their papers. And at grocery stores, at bus stops, even at our schools, they're breaking windows, dragging pregnant women down the street, just plain grabbing Minnesotans and shoving them into unmarked vans, kidnapping innocent people with no warning and no due process.
Just reckless craziness. And here he claims ICE agents are committing atrocities.
And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution.
Let's look at some of these protesters. They're not just filming, they are obstructing, they are violent, and they are committing crimes. Here they steal a rifle and ammunition from a weapons locker in a federal vehicle.
Almost there.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Where are the cops? And here is a little more lawlessness from Minneapolis, with law enforcement vehicles being destroyed. And staying in Minnesota, let's not forget about the billions, yes, billions with a B, defrauded from US taxpayers. Segments of the Somalian community have been cleaning up, running childcare centres without any children. But of course, the media is uninterested in that. They were more eager to run PR exercises from the left, claiming the unprecedented fraud was fake news. But the counter-offensive did not go too well. Look at this woman's reaction when she inadvertently admits there is fraud.
And I do see some signs over here that say stop fraud, and I agree, stop it. There are wait lists for these programs that are years long. There is fraud,
Oops, and here is another Minnesota mum who freaks out, absolutely freaks out when she inadvertently admits fraud is bad.
I understand, fraud is bad.
Yes, well done, love. You did really good. We'll get back to Minneapolis soon, but let's check in with Lefty Heartland, Seattle. Wonder what's been happening there.
With me all. Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Free President Maduro! La lucha sigue! Libertad, socialismo o muerte! Venceremos!
Yes, literally protesting to free a mass murdering dictator. A dude in a dress protesting to free a mass murdering dictator. Clearly, He's not aware of Maduro's attitude to the LGBTQIA++++ community. Meanwhile, despite claims from the left that Republicans are split over Trump's actions with Maduro, the data proves otherwise. Take away CNN's polling expert, Harry Enton.
Let me be very clear. There is no rift in the Republican Party. Yes, there are some folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie who are quite skeptical of this. They are very much in the minority. What are we talking about here? Well, why don't we just talk the GOP on the U.S. military ousting Maduro? Ipsos, 65% support, 6% opposed. How about the Washington Post poll? 74% support, just 10% opposed. If you look among 2024 Trump supporters, we're talking about 80% support.
Let's get back to the madness in Minneapolis. We now have churches falling victim to this lawless insurrection. Protesters stormed a city's church service after claiming one of the pastors there is an ICE agent. Don Lemon was with the protesters, naturally. Let's listen to his report.
Have gathered over here. They're in the middle of the church. So in the beginning of the church service, the pastor was speaking, and Nikema stood up and said her piece, and then the protesters surrounded her. But this is a clandestine mission. I think they found out one of, according to them, this is according to Operation Pull-Up, that one of the pastors here is a member of ICE. And so here we go.
Fresh year, same story. Banks raking it in while you drown in fees and interest. It's time to fight back. PDS Debt has helped hundreds of thousands cut credit card, loan and medical debt with personalised plans that actually work. No credit score gatekeeping. They go beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation and craft a personalised plan designed just for you. They've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and 5 stars on Trustpilot because they deliver. If I needed a service like this, I would not hesitate to see what PDS has to offer. Every month you wait is another win for the banks. So act now. Don't wait another month. Take back control in 30 seconds. Get your free personalised assessment and the best option for you at pdsdebt.com/Rita. That's pdsdebt.com/Rita. pdsdebt.com/Rita. Let's start with fallen celebrity Ellen DeGeneres, who is such a horror show that she's been variously described by staff and guests as toxic, terrifying, manipulative, demeaning, and the worst and meanest person I've met. Yes, that fake persona, the down-to-earth girl with a sunny disposition, well, that all fell apart when those who worked with Ellen exposed what she was really like behind the scenes, including this terrifying tidbit from a cameraman who alleged that an employee was pressured to move their child's bone marrow transplant to accommodate Ellen's schedule. Yikes. So naturally, we are just desperate to know what lefty Ellen, who fled Trump's America to move to the UK, thinks about ICE and efforts to deport illegal immigrants.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to say I am so sorry for what is happening in Minneapolis and our country, really, but specifically Minneapolis right now because it's where I shot my last stand-up special, and everybody there couldn't have been more lovely. I shot it there because they say it's the happiest city in America, and I found that to be true. So my thoughts and my prayers are going out to everyone, and I'm proud of everyone who's protesting peacefully, and I am sorry for anyone who has been hurt just for protesting, for doing what you should be doing.
Oh, she's proud of the protesters, is she? The supposedly peaceful protesters who spit on ICE agents, who attack them, try to run them over. And good news, these feral protesters aren't just busying themselves storming churches and attacking law enforcement and trying to help criminals escape deportation. They're devoting a whole day to a walkout. This is a campaign headed by actress Frances Fisher. She's as mad as hell.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
On January 20th, we are walking out to free America.
And walking in to remove the regime.
We're walking out of work
walking out of school.
We're walking out of anywhere and everywhere.
Because it's past time that we stop cooperating with fascism.
It all sounds a little bit insurrection-y to me. They want to remove the regime, as they call it. They mean the democratically elected president who won in a landslide.
Congress has the power to remove a tyrant from office. It's not an option. It's their sworn duty. So at 3 p.m., we'll start walking into local congressional offices to demand impeachment and removal.
We are peacefully demanding that our representatives file their own articles of impeachment
Against Trump and senior Trump officials.
And we are demanding that they force a vote.
Donald Trump has committed tyranny and obstruction of justice.
And turning ICE into a paramilitary force is an act of treason.
On January 20th, we are telling our congressional officials that it is their duty right now to impeach, convict, and remove.
Impeach, convict, and remove.
Impeach, convict, and remove.
Yep, what they're talking about there is a peaceful coup, an insurrection, probably something the FBI should be keeping an eye on. And talking about the FBI, they're going to investigate the storming of a church in Minneapolis by anti-ICE activists who terrorised parishioners, including children. And guess who was there with them? Former CNN hack Don Lemon.
Just imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful, it's very slippery right here. Yeah. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please, really slippery. Not kidding. That's what protesting is about. And so
that's what protesting is all about, terrifying young children. You can see kids there being forced to leave the church service. They should be safe in the sanctity of a church. This is your idea of a righteous protest, a terrified child there being comforted by adults. I mean, what sort of an absolute callous clown is Don Lemon? And if you think he's taken any accountability for his part in this activism, you'd be wrong. Apparently, anyone upset must be a white supremacist.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there.
Where does one start? So if you object to a mob of crazed lunatics storming a church during Sunday service, frightening little kids of all colours, then you're a selfish, entitled white supremacist. That's the story you're running with, Don. And interesting that he chose to speak there to Jennifer Welch, the uniquely awful hard left hater who cheered on those who called for conservatives to be killed, including those who defended the murder of Charlie Kirk. She's so full of bile and hate, and the fact that she has any presence on mainstream media like MSNBC, MS Now, shows you how far the left have fallen. Here she is with male Karen Jim Acosta talking about mass arresting her political opponents, including the likes of Elon Musk and President Trump.
Yes. Blue tsunami means that Congress is going to haul Elon Musk, big balls, and a bunch of other people's ass in front and say, what crimes did you commit? And it's going to get really serious. And the same with Trump, because I believe, and this is just my opinion, that Trump and all of the bottom-feeding morons surrounding him and Elon Musk and all the bottom-feeding Klingeroners that surround him, I think they commit crimes every day. And I think to reconcile all of this is going to take hardcore, not integrity Democrats. F you Democrats, f you f***ing over our country. We are serious about this. We are prosecuting.
There you go. She wants to round up her political opponents, and to use her words there, she is not interested in integrity Democrats. She wants those who will weaponize the justice system again to attack conservatives. How did that work out the last time, Jen? Now, I've long said a septum ring is a signal to the world, a warning of serious mental health issues. And here's further proof of that theory. This woman, I think, doesn't just need a straitjacket. I think she needs a jail cell.
You can just kill ICE agents. You know that? You can just kill them. You don't have to hold your phone in their face and ask people when their birthday is and ask people what their name is and then try to find wherever they end up in Los Angeles. You can kill them. This isn't about social media clout anymore. This isn't about video. This isn't about the phone. This is about get a gun and start killing ICE agents. They are deputized corrections officers. Kill them.
Now, while Hollywood continues to alienate half their potential audience by being stupidly woke at every given opportunity, there are those in the entertainment sector bucking the trend. Not many, mind you, but there are programs like the brilliant Landman that mock the left. Here the program confronts the excesses of the trans movement, including the obsession with pronouns.
So what are your pronouns?
My pronouns? Well, I would hope that's pretty clear.
Yeah, I don't make assumptions. You could identify as a sunflower.
You know, I've been told I look like one.
I use they, them.
You know, I've always been curious. Why they, them? Because there's just one of you, and those are plural pronouns. Just never really understood the hoopla of pronouns. My name's Ainsley, and I just can't really come up with a reason why you would address me in third person in a conversation that I'm a part of. So if you do, I'm probably not there. So I wouldn't really know what pronouns you're using anyways. So why would it matter?
This is my safe space, and I need my environment crafted to support my mental health.
And Landman also shows the manner in which universities enforce hard left conformity. This program shows who the real bullies are.
Yeah, I don't get the sense that she wants me to express myself at all.
How so?
Well, for example, their pronouns.
Here we go.
What?
Nothing. I'm just preparing myself to be offended by all means.
I don't care what someone's pronouns are. I mean, using a plural pronoun for one person is just kind of incorrect.
Says who?
Well, the English language.
Ainsley, I'm not going to argue the evolving nature of pronoun usage with you. They would prefer you use they, them. Why is that an issue?
Former CNN hack Don Lemon continues to defend the indefensible. His role in storming a church during a Sunday service, terrifying parishioners, including little kids. It's all on tape, and Lemon was dumb enough to air it all. So despite his denials, we know he was aware of what these crazed activists had planned, and he was on board with every bit of that lunacy. And this sad clown is such an attention seeker that he is now trying to manufacture a ongoing feud with superstar Nicki Minaj after she called him out for his part in storming a church. He's hit back with this ugly diatribe.
Nicki Minaj, stop talking about for which you know nothing about. This is out of your depth, by the way, and you are a homophobic bigot. You don't care about African Americans. You're not an African American. From what I know, you are reportedly an undocumented citizen, so you should be deported under Donald Trump's rules. Get a life. Stop being a pick-me. You should have put a pick-me doll on that damn tweet instead of a Chucky doll, because you are nothing but a pick-me. And I choose not to pick you. And so should black people, and so should gay people. Shouldn't buy your music.
So Don Lemon storms a church to stop illegal immigrants being deported. He's so passionate about that issue, but he now wants Nicki Minaj to be deported because she called him out. And he wasn't done with his degrading, misogynistic rant. He then went on to TMZ to continue the meltdown and call for Minaj to be cancelled. Nicki really got into his head.
I normally don't respond to things like this, but, F it. I'm going to do it this time. I think Nicki Minaj has made it very clear how she feels about African Americans in this country. For I don't think she's one of them, obviously. And she should, under Trump's rules, she should be deported. Why are you supporting her? Why are you buying her records? She's also supporting, I have lots of gay friends who love Nicki Minaj. Why are you supporting this homophobic, bigoted, ignorant woman? You should not be supporting her. Nicki Minaj, this is clearly out of her depth. She doesn't understand politics. She doesn't understand journalism. And I'm not surprised that she is weighing in on something that is beyond her capacity.
Yep, just a full-blown meltdown. But this is my favourite part. This is Don indulging in a bit of projection. Everything he says here is true about him, not Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj is a pick-me. She will do anything that is expedient for her politically. And again, she's ignorant. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's always weighing in on things that she doesn't know about. Nicki Minaj should just sit the down.
You'd think he'd be done now, but no, he's not even close. Don Lemon really scraped the bottom of the barrel by talking to the most demented, bile-filled woman in America, Jennifer Welch, who joined in the attack. And of course, as she always does, she played the race card. Now, Nicki Minaj is apparently a white supremacist.
This breed, this sect of Christianity, the white nationalist form of Christianity that I guess now Nicki Minaj attaches herself to. I'm like, good luck with that, sis. At the end of the day, you're still black. They weaponize it. And then, oh my God, I'm a victim. Don't attack my Christianity. And that's what Nicki Minaj just did right there. And I have news for Nicki Minaj. You think these white nationalists are going to accept you and your WAP? Just hide and wait. These people are serious about their racism, Miss Minaj.
You know what's racist, Jennifer? The bigotry that sees an affluent white woman telling a black woman what she can believe and who she can support. And as for WAP, W-A-P, that wasn't Nicki Minaj. That was Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, you know, the two who were campaigning for Kamala Harris. But I guess all black women look the same to Jennifer Welch. Now, that's racist. Let's have a look at Jennifer Welch's target audience. Angry, irrational, hate-filled white women who think they can get away with assaulting officers. Though this next story has a happy ending.
Bitch, are you ice garbage? Mom, who are you? What's your name? Are you ice? Oh, you don't want me to take a picture of your face? Is that because you're ice?
And here is a dude who should also be in handcuffs. He thinks he's being clever here, but he's just inciting violence.
Please do not protest by taking wet newspaper and sticking it to their windshields in the cold weather. Also, do not protest by mixing rust and the powder from an Etch-a-Sketch and finding a magnesium sparkler and lighting it over an engine block. Please do not protest that way. Air let out of tires, terrible protest method. Water balloons filled with dog, terrible protest method.
Now let's have a dose of celebrity idiocy. Here is actor and Zoran Mamdani fanboy Mandy Patinkin explaining the little explored notion that Donald Trump is literally Hitler. He must be the first lefty losing it to come up with that genius analogy.
Breaks my heart that I'm listening to the things that certain members, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, are saying. This is hate speech. Hitler was called a fool. He was called a goof, a silly person, made fun of. And then he got to be Hitler. It's not a joke. These things happen. And there's great similarities. Instead of it being Jews, it's Muslims. Instead of it being blacks who were in slavery, it's Muslims.
Similarities between the language of Donald Trump and the language of Adolf Hitler.
Yes, sir. And it's undeniable.
Undeniable, he says. What a sad, sad fool he is. But the question has to be asked, just how violent are the modern left, the so-called resistance protesting against the Trump administration? Are they so filled with hate that they'd crowdfund shootings and bombings? Documentary filmmaker Ami Horowitz travelled to Minnesota to conduct a hidden camera experiment among anti-ICE protesters.
I want to raise money for weapons. I want to go after ICE. We need money for weapons, for bombs. We need to fight back against these animals.
I'm with you.
We need to tear them apart, literally, not figuratively.
Do you want me to get off live while you talk about this?
Yes. Guns, explosives. That's the kind of language they understand, and that's what we need to do. If you feel me.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. This is just not working.
You feel me?
I feel you.
And that takes weapons, and that takes explosives, and that takes blowing up. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay, it's a GoFundMe. That's how I was wondering.
It's a GoFundMe. We gotta fucking kill these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We need to go after these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to hurt them. We need to kill them. I think we have to start killing people, man, frankly.
Right.
I think that's the only way for us to get the message across because, let's be honest, saying F you, they don't give a
yeah, literally.
Exactly. They're just like, look at these guys wasting their time again. I know what you mean.
Okay. It's easy to get these lunatics to agree that violence and killing is the only way, but would any of them be willing to donate money to fund acts of violence, acts of murder? Let's see.
I mean, I'm kind of a broke college student, but like I'll donate like 10, 20 bucks.
Not very much. I'm a student. Maybe like 50 bucks.
15 bucks?
Maybe like $50 per
That's
yeah.
Bless you. Bless you.
Oh, we grabbed it for only like 20 bucks. That's my husband's laid out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being out here too.
Take care. I appreciate you. Peace and love.
Yeah, peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love, brother. Take care.
And CNN continues to be the home of broken, tedious, afflicted souls who will spew any sort of rubbish on live television. The only exception appears to be Scott Jennings, the token conservative, the lone sane voice who happened to be there when Cameron Kasky, a typical soy boy lefty, was allowed to say this unchallenged by the host, John Berman.
Appreciative that the president is being transparent about this. I would love it if he was more transparent about the human sex trafficking network that he was a part of, but you can't win them all.
Cameron's grateful that the president is being transparent about the Nobel Peace Prize and his desires for Greenland. Scott, what do you think about that?
You going to let that sit? Are we going to claim here on CNN that the president is part of a global sex trafficking ring, or?
Well,
I mean,
we're going to talk about the Epstein file. Scott, I will do the fact checking as we go along here.
Seriously, the host there, John Berman, makes hard left simpleton Abby Phillip, the usual host, look like an unbiased genius. The nerve of that CNN propagandist to say to Scott Jennings, I'll do the fact checks, please. And the lawyers must have got in contact because that soy boy panellist was apologising profusely. He wrote, I would like to retract my comments from CNN last night and truly apologise. Donald Trump was obviously not involved with a giant international child sex trafficking ring where women and children were systematically raped by elites. I said that by accident and didn't mean it. What? You defamed the president by accident? That's the story you're going to go with? Not sure that's going to save you in court, son. And let's not forget, you repeated that outrageous lie twice.
Repeat what you said about the global sex trafficking ring.
That Donald Trump was provably very involved with it.
Now, let's check in on some white women screaming abuse at a black man, calling him a race traitor, amongst other slurs, because he's enforcing the law as an ICE agent.
Be a race traitor?
See, again, y'all are throwing race into all of this. Nobody's throwing race into it.
You profile people for how they look. You profile people for how they look and how they speak without your mask on.
Perfectly sums up this madness. White liberal women screaming at a black man about racism. And here is another white leftist woman who is very proud of herself for lecturing a brown man about what he is allowed to think and who he is allowed to support. Sure, there's a word that describes that. Starts with R.
35-year-old kid in the coffee shop this morning was saying he's Republican. Young, brown, living in a blue state. I proceeded to embarrass him. He said something about a debate. I said, I do not debate with idiots. No, this is a civil war. You have not received the feedback, the consequence that your words are garbage and you're a bad person at this point. Let me communicate that to you. You're welcome.
Let's round out Lefties for the week with this performance from former Canadian Prime Minister, now full-time himbo handbag, Justin Trudeau.
Pushing disinformation the way you have.
What is disinformation?
Irresponsible.
What, that people have died?
People in Canada to vaccinate.
I'm sorry, but that's
COVID vaccine.
But that's not misinformation. My old cameraman's mother actually.
Them and you pushed them into jail.
My old cameraman's mother actually died after complications from the COVID vaccine. So is that misinformation? Oh, now you're laughing.
He's laughing. How was that diabolically dim-witted wannabe dictator ever elected Prime Minister? Canada, what is wrong with you? You let that male himbo, lock you down and arrest your truckers, seize their bank accounts. And I've got to say, Justin Trudeau's performance in Davos did not improve when he was joined by his current girlfriend, the supremely vacuous pop star and pretend astronaut Katy Perry.
Who paid for you to come here? Was it taxpayers?
What do you make of the Federal Court of Appeal upholding the ruling that your martial law was illegal? They said you violated.
It's good to see you, Ezra. It's been a long time. How you been? How you been keeping?
Pretty well, but you didn't speak to me.
I'm worried about you.
I don't think you have.
You stopped speaking to me after the boxing match. I never heard from you again.
That's not true. Every time we tried to come into contact with you, you had us arrested.